Today on Sunyshore Station, we introduce our brand new competitive Pokemon segment. Check it out. It's always sunny at Sunyshore Station. Hello everyone and welcome back to Sunyshore Station, your choice for Pokemon podcasting. I'm your host, Fus Ro DAB, and today I'm joined with a very special guest, a good friend of mine. You know him, you love him, from the Soul Link, of course. It's Maxis. Say hello.
Hi.
The early hi this time. There's no delay.
The preemptive hi this time.
Oh my god. Those who don't know the reference, he has tormented me over the course of the Soul Link. By doing hi, they're saying hi early or late or perfectly on time to mess with me, like with getting the audio tracks to line up. So of course,
tormented. Of
course, it would be like this. He uses torment as super effective against Fus. So speaking of super effective, we have a segment for you that's going to be on this season of the podcast called The Meta with Meta. Cleverly named, I would say so. Pat on the back. I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. Basically, Meta and I really enjoy competitive play. Different aspects of competitive play, VGC, draft leagues, things like that, just online ranked battles. We really enjoy that kind of like aspect of Pokemon, and we wanted to take a creative twist, unique spin to it, and give it to you guys in a new format. Before we get into what exactly we're going to be doing, I invited Meta here because of his unique analytical mindset when it comes to Pokemon. Would you like to share a little bit about your history with competitive play or things that you have fond memories of? Anything in particular?
Yeah, I mean, it honestly, competitive helped me in a very dark place once, and it kind of, I do credit with like helping me overcome depression once.
Yeah.
It was first regional I ever went to, and it was Richmond, Virginia, Ultra Series 2019, November 5th. Went down to Virginia in Richmond, and this was when like all the restricteds, like, Primal Groudon, Primal Kyogre, Xerneas, all those were like, just running the whole place. And obviously getting our butts handed to us, by, of course, the Primals, because they're all absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
But it was just like being there, just like seeing like all these guys, like, yeah, these guys are like, they're all some of the best people here, and they're super nice. It's like, they're so nice.
You think whenever you think of competitive games, for me, my first thought comes to like something like Apex or Fortnite, and the competitive scene is so very toxic for that, but Pokemon is something that brings people together. So that's 100% accurate with my experience with it as well. I haven't really ever had a negative impact with Pokemon competitive play.
I think a lot of it is because, like, when you go to, like, the regionals, it's like you do have to, drive there, get, like, a hotel. There's an entry fee for some of them. Even if you live local, there's a bit of an entry fee.
Yeah.
Because, there goes in the prize and everything. And, if you're going to go there, you are serious about playing. It's you're going there to compete because, you want to play. It's not like with some of the things where like anyone can kind of get on there. Like it sounds like gatekeeping and like elitist and like don't want to give off that impression, but you do have to make a bit more of, I guess, like you do have to like make some steps on your own to go get there rather than just like sit behind a thing. And that's one of the reasons why I don't really play Pokemon Showdown all that much.
It's like people are putting effort into it, so they're going to care about it, and they're going to be more
invested.
Also, but invested in their opponent. You know what I mean? Because their opponent has put the same amount of effort into it they have. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like one of the things that I remember that always just stuck out to me was, I forget who it was. I don't remember the name of them. I remember someone in the club mentioned like the name of them, and they're like, one of the good players. And whenever they would talk to them, they shake their hand. Ask them, how did you drive here? How did we get here? Okay. You just like ask them like little couple questions like that. You just basically just ask how they're doing.
Yeah.
And they're just like, it's so nice.
Personal.
Yeah, it's very personal.
I agree. And my experiences with competitive have been very similar. I don't think I've ever had an instance of any kind of like hostility in anything that I've competed in. Now, mind you, all the things that I've competed in have been things with people that I knew pretty well. So I mean, like, well, some of them I did know, some of them I didn't at the time, but it was such an inviting thing. And when it started, and I'll get into this a little bit more in a second. But what I'm talking to about is the Elite Battle League Draft League, that I was a part of for 2 seasons. The people that I started out with, and then as it grew, were so incredibly inviting and inclusive to the fact that, you know, not everyone has the same level of experience with a draft league, so everyone was like super patient with each other, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm a part of the EBL presently right now, and it's like, it's very nice.
So you know exactly what I'm talking about then. Yeah,
I was actually just talking to the guys before even coming on.
I didn't know how the draft would work, if that makes sense. I didn't know how it worked the first time getting into it, so I panicked. I'm like, okay, am I gonna actually have a chance at doing this? I was like kind of nervous about it because I had played competitively before, but not with like a draft, because if something gets drafted, you know, it's theirs. You know, you can't really,
there's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you can't, if somebody wants Cinderace, they're getting Cinderace and you're not getting Cinderace. So you know I'm just using Cinderace as an example.
Yeah,
it's a kind of a nerve-wracking thing. So when I didn't understand how it worked, it was, they were patient with me, while I was getting my mind wrapped around the concept of it. And then, like, I don't know, it was just like an inviting atmosphere. So I totally get what you're saying. It's not a toxic online experience like you would get. You have a chance of getting good people on Showdown, but more often than not, you have people who are quote unquote air quotes noobs playing the game. You know what I mean? Like, even if it's somebody who's not necessarily the definition of a noob, they're acting like one. You know what I mean?
That's pretty much the reason I just kind of stay off. The other reason why is I do VGC, which is a best of 3 and a best of 1. The strategies are all completely different.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So it doesn't give you the same kind of practice.
You get that more face-to-face interaction too, and especially in the light of the last couple of years, it's definitely something that people need more of. You know, like me, myself personally, being shut away from people for the time that we were under, you know, the shutdown and stuff like that. Getting out and playing my favorite game with my friends and stuff like that, or getting out and playing with people that I've never met before, was a breath of fresh air from being like shut in for so long, and then you're only allowed to do like Showdown. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like this is just a good talking point. It's like a healthy competition, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy watching as well as competing. So, anything else you want to add? Sorry, I'm rambling.
Well, I mean, this was sort of a more relatively recent thing, but you know, one of the people that, you know, Penn State Pokemon Club is actually where I learned a lot more of my competitive stuff from, and in there is Santino Tarquino, the guy who won the first Players Cup for Sword and Shield. Yeah, and he competes in some of the events that the club has. There's a big every year they have a big thing called the Penn State Pokemon Challenge. So let me go grab the badge case we had from it for Sword and Shield.
You have a badge case?
Yeah, because there was you'll see this when you're editing the thing, but they made sort of like a badge case to sort of mimic the thing that Sword and Shield has.
Oh, okay.
For you know, for its like badge circle thing, each time you get a little piece and you put it in the little hexagon thing. And Santino was one of the Elite Four. And, you know, like, this is a person who has beaten, you know, some of the best players. He's gone to a number of official tournaments and done extremely well. And you're just going up against him and, you know, going up against him like one-on-one. Even though I play doubles, this was a singles tournament. And, you know, at the end of it, you know, that was a hard match. He said it was a hard match. He ended up beating me, but it was a very close one.
That's awesome.
And then at the end, you know, he said, you know, yeah, Gastrodon gave me the heebie-jeebies. And it's just like, the interact, and then, you know, there's also been times where, off season, you know, when I'm playing VGC, you know, I send like some things for ideas of teams to him, and, you know, he gives me a little bit of feedback, and it's just like, this is a guy who has done this for so long and is so good, and I'm just like, he gives me help tips. It's like, it's so nice.
That's really, really cool. I mean, somebody that has competed that much to being, you know, humbled by a person that is just competing in.
He's such a nice guy. You would never know looking at him, and it's just, he is so nice.
That's awesome. I absolutely love that story.
It is. It's great. It's just like that club. I have some of my fondest memories of Pokemon from that club.
That's speaking of memories. That's a good segue. I wanted to bring up a couple of you know, like a kind of a conversation starter about memories in the competitive scene. I remember, and then I'll pass the torch to you. I remember being kind of new to the whole competitive scene around the time that Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire were getting, kind of coming out. X and Y, I wasn't really super into competitive. But as soon as Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire kind of like expanded on the whole Mega Evolution thing and added my favorite region, I was like, you know what? I'm going to start getting into it. And you said that Penn State had the Pokemon Club. Well, when I went to college too, we had a Pokemon League there too. And, I think they canceled it like about like 4 or 5 badges in whenever I got that far into it, because I think 2 people had graduated, but then they couldn't fill the spots. I was willing to fill one of them, but I was wanting to complete the challenge first. But I think also because they were like, okay, this guy's actually gonna like get all the way to the end, and we have to organize it, so we're gonna stop it. I remember I was running a very interesting. It was a Mega Venusaur set. It was really cool. I had all the support for Mega Venusaur. It was chlorophyll, of course.
Chlorophyll base into fat.
Yeah. It was such a good like team. Had a lot of synergy. I was pit up against a bunch of people that had coverage for my Mega Venusaur at the time, and it was really fun, like tricking my way out of situations. And I felt like the people were like, okay, we're just gonna call this off. Yeah. It was so convenient too, because I was like at badge 5, and then it got shut down, and I was so upset. It was my like freshman or sophomore year. I think it was my freshman year in college, and I was like, come on, man. We were still actually it was freshman year in college, because Sun and Moon hadn't come out yet. So we were still playing on Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Yep, that was what it was. Wow, memories. I was like, I'm trying to connect the dots. I'm like, okay, so because I remember going from like a football game at my college. I was in the marching band, and I remember we got out super late, but they had a midnight release of Sun and Moon at the GameStop. So I was like, okay, I was like 2 minutes away from them closing the door, and I ran in.
So just sprint at Mach 1.
Yeah, like I was literally using extreme speed to get there. Haha, puns. But we had such a good time on Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. I remember building that team, and I remember having just the most fun, doing that. It was such a difficult and tedious process for me, because it was the first competitive team I've ever built. Like at least, I had built Mons, but I hadn't built like a synergized team at that point. I don't know. What about you? You got a cool memory like that you want to share?
I have a lot, but I'm probably gonna say my absolute favorite of them, and that was the Gastrodon one.
Yeah.
I love Gastrodon. Everyone knows I love Gastrodon.
I love Gary.
The memory of this was in one of the draft leagues. Every year we do 3 draft leagues. We do one in the fall, one during the summer, and then one in the spring. And not as many people compete in the summer one, but one of the summer one that I competed in, I ended up at the end I won the tournament, which was very satisfying.
Nice.
But this memory, the person I went up against for this battle, their name is Phonon Mode. That's their username. Probably not gonna say their actual name, because them.
Yeah, privacy.
They've been in a couple of streams, and they've battled against me in streams, so there's that. But yeah, and we've gone against each other a lot in previous things. We know each of us are like good at playing, but we also know we can't play straight against the other person, because they will see through that. So we have to go into like awkward, janky strategy territory, and it basically becomes a game of mind games at that point.
Wow.
So he had Lapras on his team, and I had Gastrodon, so I knew he's going to be bringing Freeze Dry on that Lapras, because he knows Gastrodon bodies almost his entire lineup otherwise. And I thought, he's going to use Freeze Dry. I don't know if this worked, but I said the Yacht Berry reduces super effective ice damage. Freeze Dry is super effective. I wonder if this will work. And it did. And that won me the match because it allowed Gastrodon to survive a hit. Because this is all doubles. It allowed Gastrodon to survive a hit from the Lapras Freeze Dry. Because his Lapras was a weakness policy Lapras, which was basically designed to go, double boost up, double its special attack, and then knock stuff out. Had it not been for the Yacht Berry, Gastrodon would have gone down, and I would have lost. But it survived. Metagross was able to take down the Comfey and take down the Lapras the next turn, and then the Gastrodon just opened the way to winning. And it was entire club basically lost it when the Yacht Berry went off.
That is such a smart play.
And it was just like, I don't know if this is going to work, but I think it should.
That is insane.
And it was just like, that is the reason that I love this club, is that we go and do all kinds of like mind games. I mean, a later one, and our mind game wars go back and forth. There was one season that I had Shedinja, and we were in the finals, and he picked up an Abomasnow. It was like, and I asked him after our battle was over, like, did you pick up the Abomasnow for no reason other than to mind game me and psych me out of bringing Shedinja? And he said yes.
Oh,
he was never planning on bringing it. He just did it purely to mind game me.
That is absolutely hilarious.
And he's also gone to a lot of regionals before. So like, he's also very good. It's like, this is why I love these guys.
That's so cool. I love how that works. And now, you said a Gastrodon story, so can I tell you a Gastrodon story?
Yes.
So, if you go back and you watch the second season of the Elite Battle League, I did a kind of a hybrid Sun team. I drafted a bunch of really cool Pokemon, and it kind of revolved around that theme of, okay, I'm going to get them out there, get the sun up, and do a bunch of damage at once, right? I had a Gastrodon with Storm Drain to eat any water hits. Yeah. It was my intention. It was kind of like a hybrid Sun team. I was playing, kind of safe at the same time, because I had first Elite Battle League season. I know Pokepitch has, since he has come into the Elite Battle League, has been known as the Great Wall of Essex. That's his nickname and whatnot. But I was the original Great Wall. The Great Wall of Everglade for the Season 1 Everglade Entei, they had... everyone was super worried about facing off against my Wally team. It was just bulk after bulk after bulk. And my next team, I kind of I kind of went away from the whole bulk side of things, and I went for more, speedy, very fragile glass cannons to attack with.
Yeah.
Mind you, I had some bulk still.
Yeah.
But I kind of had a modified drought team. So, getting back to Gastrodon, I had Gastrodon for Storm Drain, and I remember the very first match I think it's the first or second match of this entire season. I can't remember who I was faced up against. It might have been Derek. Always More Videos. It might have been. I'm pretty sure. I might be wrong, but whoever it was had a Primarina, and I was like, okay, they're taking the Primarina, and I'm going to try to bait a water type move. And I think I had my Torkoal or my Groudon up, setting up the sun, and I stayed in one turn more than I should have to protect. And they baited a water type move, and I was like, okay, they're gonna try to go for it again. So I switched out to Gastrodon, thinking Storm Drain would help to kick in.
Yeah.
Primarina uses Energy Ball.
Oh, you stayed in too long. They caught on. I shouldn't have protected. I should have been, at least I think it was protected. It was either that or Stealth Rock. It was one of the two. And I'll let you know. We drafted 9 Pokemon, obviously, because that's what you do in a draft league, and you take obviously 6. I never brought Gastrodon back again because of PTSD. Wow.
It's one time on screen, it got demolished. In that season, I didn't take it back. I was so traumatized by the fact that this thing got just absolutely one shot by Primarina, and that's without any kind of buffs at all. So then after that, Primarina buffed itself up, and it like almost swept the entire team. It was awful. I was like, I'm never using Gastrodon again competitively.
That makes me want to send you the video from last night that we streamed, because I had just the Palafin bait of Flip Turn with the Gastrodon.
Oh no.
It was good.
Oh gosh, it just makes me so anxious now when I think about Gastrodon. It kind of reminds me of this one time, another good memory. I was using Colossal against he was on my drought team, and I was facing off against Infernaman. And Infernaman's scariest Pokemon for Season 2 was his Quagsire. His Quagsire, shiny, of course, because he's the shiny king. His Quagsire was Toxic Stall, basically. And it was really annoying. So, me being me, I brought, I believe it was, Steam Engine, Colossal. And I was like, you know what? I got one shot at this, because I know he's going to Earthquake, or he's going to just, protect, or he's going to stall or whatever. He did end up doing Toxic. And I was like, okay, that's fine. I had set the sun up with my Torkoal the previous turn, and he didn't know I was running Solar Beam.
I feel like at that point, if you know they are running a Sun team, they have a lot of fire types. Yeah. You should expect Solar Beam on absolutely everything.
He thought I was gonna Gigantamax into the Volcalith.
Okay, that fair point.
He was like, okay. He said, I can take a Volcalith. That's not a big deal. He said, I'm gonna try to get the Toxic off so this thing can't do too much damage. It won't last too long to do a lot of damage. And then the Solar Beam just comes out of nowhere and murks him. And he's like, oh no. the rest of the match
was... Insert Joseph's oh no from JoJo's Bizarre Adventures.
Yeah. Is that a JoJo's reference?
Yes. They've corrupted me.
God, it was such a moment though. So I told you a good story and a bad story. Do you have a bad story? Like, oh my God, this didn't go like I wanted it to?
There actually was one yesterday where someone did call, it wasn't actually them calling the Gastrodon. The Gastrodon was switching out I'm pretty sure it was the Gastrodon was switching out for my Volcarona. They called, because it was switching Gastrodon out for Volcarona because it was facing a Breloom. They called the Gastrodon was switching out for Volcarona, and Volcarona's got one shot by this Breloom with Rock Tomb.
Dude, that is absolutely so devastating.
Yeah.
Whenever it comes to Gastrodon, though, my like, just like in the Soul Link, though, like every time I see Gastrodon, my blood boils for a little bit, because I'm just, I love Gary, don't get me wrong, but I'm just like, it reminds me of just Energy Ball.
The flashbacks.
Like it's a trauma response over here, man.
Yeah.
I have not like drafted, or I haven't like built a Gastrodon since.
Yeah, fair point.
God, it was definitely something. I'll give it that. I enjoy the draft league stuff. It was so much work, time consuming wise, and to do it correctly, you really got to dig into it. And I was at that point still deciding about what I wanted to do with my channel. That's why, if anyone's wondering why I'm not in the Elite Battle League right now, it's because it was so time consuming and so just, it diverted so much of my attention. I couldn't focus on the things that I wanted to do with my channel. So who knows, maybe I'll join back one day, and Meta and I will have ourselves a showdown in a draft league. But it was definitely fun, and I do look back with fond memories. Are y'all currently in the draft phase now, or have you already drafted?
We already drafted.
Nice. Oh gosh, that was such a
I'm pretty sure I actually did draft Gastrodon.
Oh no, did you really?
I have to.
You have to.
Gastrodon is the one Pokemon that has basically never let me down when it comes to battles.
It is a good Pokemon. I wish it had the option to get Sap Sipper as an ability, because
so broken.
That would be so stupid.
That would be broken.
That would be so stupid. And I was like, I was thinking in my mind, there's no way a grass type move's coming on a Primarina.
Nope, it gets Energy Ball.
They brought Energy Ball just for my Gastrodon too.
I mean, it's a pretty good move to have on Primarina. So like you use it to destroy the water types.
It is. I mean, but when they're running that set against my fire team, there wasn't that much that it couldn't really cover. I mean, like the only thing it'd be good against other than my Gastrodon at the time was my Groudon. But my Groudon was, defensive as all get out. It was meant to survive, right?
Bulk.
Yeah, it's bulk, dude. It was bulk for days. And the only reason they brought Energy Ball was to take down my Gastrodon. And I was like, I played right into their hand.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was such
that's the gamble when you go for a bait, is like you run the risk of they're going to call you.
Yeah. I sure did. I shouldn't have done what I did. But you know what though? Hindsight's 2020, right?
Live and learn.
I absolutely love talking about our favorite moments, and hope you guys listening are enjoying it as well. I just wanted to go ahead, and now that we've talked and broken the ice a little bit for this part of the podcast, I want to talk about what this segment with Meta is actually going to include. Obviously we're in a brand new region, and the meta has changed a lot because of the new mechanics. I think that there was a lot of moves and a lot of abilities that have been changed, and there's a lot of different things in this part of competitive that we have to take into consideration. For example, I know Protean and Libero are not as good as they used to be, which sucks. It sucks royally.
Debatable. That is very debatable.
What do you mean?
The fact that they're not obnoxious anymore.
But I mean, that was the whole fun of them. I mean,
no,
they're ludicrous. That was the whole point.
It was not fun.
Yeah, I guess it is a little bit more balanced, but there's a lot of differences, and Meta and I are not just going to sit here and talk to you about the differences. We want to have a game format where, kind of like Who's That Pokemon, we're going to randomly generate Pokemon and discuss their competitive viability, and then try to pit them up against each other and try to argue with each other about who would win. So I'll get one, Meta will get one. It's going to be a really, really, really fun process, and it's not going to be like a normal discussion for competitive play. We're going to actually talk through the pros and cons of what we've been given. And I was telling Meta this off screen, with a Pokemon random generator, it could be something really good versus something really bad. But at the same time, though, I mean, Pachirisu won Worlds, so I mean
that's also a false positive. That's also a big false positive. It was the only electric redirector that could take a Draco Meteor. I mean, also Mega Salamence is not a dedicated special attacker.
But still, I think even the smallest thing has competitive viability sometimes.
Oh, I agree.
So I think that if we take a good non-biased approach to this, I think we'll have a really interesting series of conversations, and we'll have a really good round of discussions for you. I think that's gonna be a really fun time. What do you think?
I think it'll be very interesting.
It will. Is there any closing thoughts that you would like to add before we wrap it up today?
Not really.
Well, guys, I hope this little introduction to getting to know our experiences with competitive play and getting to know us a little bit more has been enjoyable for you. As we continue with the year, we'll have Meta back on for Meta with Meta, and we'll have these little competitions where we're going to be making random Pokemon pit up against each other and talking about weaseling our way through with the power of friendship. I mean, the power of Talk No Jutsu if it was Naruto. We're gonna try to see who can make the strongest competitive set, and I fully expect Meta to just wipe the floor with me every single time, even if he gets
I don't know.
even if you get something like trash and I get like Arceus or something, you're still gonna find a way to beat me.
No.
Oh my gosh.
I'll have to run on technicalities in that case.
You're gonna have to run a lot of technicalities. But yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Meta, would you like to plug any of your social media or your YouTube channel?
We got the Twitter, we got the Discord, we got, of course, the channel, but that's really all we got.
You want to plug your, Twitter handle so the people listening can, type it in?
I'm pretty sure it's just like at MetaMaxis, I think. Let me check.
Metagross Maxis, I think?
It's at Maxis Metagross.
Maxis Metagross, that's what it is. So go ahead and check him out on Twitter. Of course, you can follow his YouTube channel by going to MetaMaxis. There is a space in between. And all the other links are in descriptions of your videos, correct?
Remember, Fus, there's the blue link, the blue @ in the title.
The blue @ in the title. Oh yeah, true. Well, this is also going on Spotify though, so.
Truth.
Yeah, it comes out early on Spotify.
I vaguely forget Spotify exists.
He says as he's on Spotify, so that's kind of like you're like Inception. You're like breaking through the barriers of time and space.
Technically, fourth walls don't exist in just audio only.
It's just the fifth wall now. It's not even the fourth wall.
The fourth speaker.
The fourth speaker. Oh my god. More shenanigans like this, more witty banter on the podcast, guys. And of course, you can always follow me at the Fus Ro DAB on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. You can check out my YouTube channel, Fus Ro DAB, for more excellent content like this. I think that's about it. Any last things to add? Nope. Delayed no this time.
Yep.
Guys, thanks so much for listening to Sunyshore Station. We'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in. This has been Sunyshore Station.